Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. My name is Donna Sullivan from Awaken Your Bliss. Over the next few months, I'm going to be sharing many stories. Hopefully, over the next few years, I'll share many stories with you. So, these stories are all around experiences that I've either had, or healings that I've witnessed, or anything holistic that I can verify. So, thank you for joining me. And the story that I'm going to share today is very close to my heart. This is about my brother Steve, who is quadriplegic. So it's 26. Steve had his drink spiked, and unfortunately, he was found the next morning in his hotel and by the maid, and she was going to clean up, and she found him dead. So she rang the ambulance, and the ambulance came and resuscitated him. So Stephen has brain injury. So when he was transported to the hospital, due to his resuscitation, he was now in a coma, and he was in a coma for the next 10 months. So it was a really difficult period, not knowing what the outcome would be. So yeah, so he was in hospital for a long time, and then he was transferred to the brain injury unit at Westmead Hospital, where he proceeded to be in a coma. Now, when he woke up some 10 months later, he the only thing he could do was he couldn't see, he couldn't speak, and obviously his body didn't work. So over the next several months, he regained his ability to speak. He also began to see, and it took him a lot longer, probably another year, and he was able to have some use of his hands. So, which was really good because he could sort of get his hands up to his mouth. He could eat a sandwich, for example. He didn't have enough strength to, I don't know, cut a steak or even cut anything, probably just enough to be able to use his wheelchair with his fingers and get food to his mouth. So he was in Westmead Hospital for quite some time after that, and from there he proceeded to go to an institution, which was pretty horrible. He was one of the very few people there that could actually speak. Most people were in late stages dementia or MS. So that was a pretty difficult journey. Beyond that, obviously it was a pretty horrible place for him to be in. So he actually approached the Australian government to see if whether they'd give him the ability to be able to have his own housing commission, where somebody would come in and make his meals, get him up, dress him, shower him, all that sort of thing. And that way he could go out in his chair and he could have some normalcy and meet people and create some sort of life for himself. So after a bit of a struggle and a bit of a fight and everything, he was awarded the right to have his own housing commission environment. So the good thing here, well, the thing here was he was actually at the time, this is 26 years ago, he's now 52. He was the most disabled person to ever be awarded the right to have his own housing commission home. So the story unfolds from there that he actually ended up marrying his carer, and he now has two children. So then we'll come forward to November 2023. So just 13 months ago, I gave him a call one Saturday morning, and I said that I was going to come and visit. Was he home? And, could he take a visitor? And he said, "Oh no, I'm actually in hospital." So I said, "That's fine. I'll come to the hospital." And I picked up his son on the way. His daughter was already with him. When I arrived at the hospital, my niece proceeded to tell me that this was a Saturday, and that on Monday they were going to put him into palliative care. So I went, okay, let's go see him. Let's see what we can do. I'm a healer. Let me see if any of my modalities will support him. So once I had a chat and had an understanding of what was going on, I decided to do some body talk on him. So the problem for Stephen at the time, that point in time, was that he hadn't peed for like 4 days, And the night before, he was vomiting up all black. So in other words, all the toxins that were in his body weren't being able to release through peeing or urinating. So he was bringing up all the toxins and being sick with that. So he's in a really, really bad way. He's also virtually nil water as well. I can't remember how many milligrams of water he was allowed to have a day, but very little because he wasn't able to get rid of it. So I proceeded to, or I decided to do some body talk on him. Now, I'm only a body talk technician, so this is only a one-day course. So this is just really, really basic body talk. But I have to say, over the last 10, 15 years that I've done body talk, I would have used it, I don't know, 1,000 times. It's a remarkable at-home sort of modality that can make a big difference in your life. So what body talk is so what I was doing is I wanted to reconnect the left-hand cortex and the right-hand cortex of his brain so what it basically happens if you're unwell or you're sick or you're stressed or anything like that, it's like static electricity gets in between the cortices of your brain. So it makes it difficult for your body to send urinate healing down the meridian lines to that part of your body that needs to be healed. So I proceeded to do this. I did it for water, hoping to get rid of any excess fluid that was in his body that he needed to urinate out, and also did it based on infection as well, so we could get rid of the toxins in his body. So I proceeded to do this about 4 or 5, or actually maybe 6 or 7 times during the course of the day, because I was actually teaching his niece how to do it so that when I left the hospital that day, she could support him by doing it. It's that simple. So we did that, and then probably some 6 or 7 hours later, I got my car and headed home, and I was only half an hour away from the hospital, and he called and he said, "Oh, Donna, I'm peeing." I said, "Well, that's good." I said, "If you're peeing, there's no reason for you to go to palliative care on Monday. So just don't worry about it. Just, rest up and all will be well." So I'm glad to say now, 30 months later, Steve is still with us. He did not go to palliative care. I'll also share too that he's also on dialysis, has been probably for the best part of 10 years. So he's on dialysis 3 days a week. And his heart, back then, I think his heart was, last November, I think his heart was actually monitored as only having 24% heart muscle left. And after at some stage during the year, he was actually got down to 14%. And but after that experience, I'm not saying it was the body talk, it could be very much his will to live. But the doctor said to him, "Stephen, your heart's actually monitoring at 25%. So it was even 1% more than it was some time ago." And he said, "What have you been doing?" He said, "Nothing." So, why that is, whether it's will to live or whether body talk supported him in healing his heart to some degree, though it is science actually suggests that the heart muscle cannot be repaired. So that's a bit of a question mark, a wild spot. Can't give you any clarity on that, but it's good to know that currently he has about 24% or 25% of his heart muscle functioning. So that's excellent. And so we'll just move on to another bit of his story. So just recently, just this week, actually, it's actually Christmas Eve here in Australia, Christmas Eve 2024. And I'd gone down to catch up with Steve and his family for Christmas. And unbeknownst, we started having a conversation about near-death experiences. Now, Stephen's journey was so difficult back then, and to tell you the truth, it wasn't really common knowledge. We didn't really speak much about that sort of thing back then, and I definitely wasn't in the spiritual realm as much as what I am now. So we had a chat about his near-death experience, and this was the first time I'd learned that he actually had one. So he proceeded to say that, yeah, he went down the tunnel, the white tunnel, and he felt all that love and everything. And he said then he heard a man's voice. And he said, the man said, "You have a choice. You can stay with us here. You don't have to go back. So he was obviously at what is in the spiritual world is known as one of death's doors, or you can go back. And it basically told him what his life would be like if he went back and what it would be like. Like he'd be free of all his physical ailments if he decided to stay. And he said, no, I want to go back. I want to go back. I always wanted to be a dad. So anyway, he did come back. And as I shared, he actually married his carer, proceeded to have 2 children. So there's a miracle there in itself. And also at some stage after his coma, the doctor did actually say to him that he didn't believe that he'd be able to have children. So for miracles to happen, he went on to have 2 children, was the most handicapped person in Australia to be awarded the rights to have a housing commission home, then to go on and marry his carer, ultimately to have 2 children, which was actually his purpose to be here, his life, what he wanted most out of life was to be a father. So I hope you enjoyed my brother's story, my brother Steve's story. He did give me full permission to share this, so he's more than happy to have his story shared with people. It might inspire or help or support anybody in any way. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to share my story with you. I hope you liked it. My name is Donna again from Awaken Your Bliss. You can find me on Facebook with Awaken Your Bliss or Donna Sullivan. And my website is blissfulsoul.au. Or if you'd like to reach out with me about any healing or spiritual questions or anything at all, you'll get me at donna@blissfulsoul.au. So wishing you all a Merry Christmas for this Christmas Eve 2024. Thank you for joining me. I'm sending you love and light from me. Grateful to have you with me. All the best for now. Take care. Bye.